Hello and welcome to Facebook Live with the CEO. I am Ronaldo Hardy, CEO here at Southwest Louisiana Credit Union, and I am excited to have an opportunity to spend the afternoon with you. And this time I decided kind of to go off the cuff. This presentation or conversation is a lot less prepared, but I wanted to have a dialogue with you, and I'm hoping that you will engage with me. And before I start kind of really jumping in, I want you to think for a moment about this question. What are you doing in your home to prepare financially? And then how are you making sure everybody in the home is also doing the same? All right. You didn't know that you were going to get a little bit of classwork when we started this, but I want to make sure that you're thinking about this, because as we have this dialogue, it will be helpful for you to be thinking through what happens in your household. You know, we're at the end of January. Tomorrow's the last day of the month, and you're in one or two places and spaces right now. Either you are thriving as it relates to your New Year's resolutions and maybe the goals that you established, or maybe you've already fallen off. I can tell you something that I've done personally is I've gotten rid of that terminology goal, because I believe that, you know, when we think about goals are things that we routinely make and then subsequently break. Like, how many times have you made a goal that I'm going to lose this amount of weight, or I'm going to save this amount of money, and you didn't hit it, and because there was no consequence to it, you got familiar with this process of not hitting the things that you say that you want to hit, and you don't really even care. But what I know about a focus is that no matter what you're focused on, whether it is good or bad, whatever you focus on and bring attention to is gonna manifest. So if you take a whole lot of your time focused on the wrong things, on bad things, on what could go wrong, you know, many times you're gonna end up having those self-fulfilled prophecies. However, if you're focused on things that are good and you put your determination and your drive behind those things, then you're gonna see positive results. So whatever you focus on, whether good or bad, is going to manifest in your life. So we want to make sure that you're focused positively in this year. And if you've already quit on those, you know, resolutions that you laid out, or the things that you said that you would accomplish, if you've already given up, I want to make sure that I encourage you today to jump back in. So for a moment, let's talk about what financial planning and really budgeting looks like in the household, because, you know, I know your household could be comprised differently. For some of you, you may be just single, all by yourself. You don't have any kids, nobody to worry about. You know, that's one of the greatest positions to be in terms of being able to get ahead, because while you don't have the responsibility of young ones and you don't have to have accountability to anybody but yourself, you could be taking time to stockpile your money. And so what financial planning and budgeting looks like for you is having a clear understanding of what do I have coming in on a monthly basis? What are my fixed expenses, you know, in terms of rent, in terms of your car note, things of that nature, and what's variable? What can I control? I can control how often I eat out. I can control how often I'm on the go in my vehicle so that I can reduce the amount that I spend on gas. Think about those things. Consider how much you want to be saving and get that plan in place, all right? Then maybe you're single, but you do have kids. Life can be a bit hectic in that scenario. I could not imagine what it would be like to have children and to be on my own, because I could tell you, my wife and I have 4 kids, and we have a tough enough time trying to manage that between the two of us. So trying to do that by myself would be difficult. But in that scenario, you have these other factors to consider. The food expense is a little different when you have children involved. Maybe they're involved in extracurricular activities. And so for you, planning may look like it'll look the same in terms of making sure you have an understanding of what's coming in, what's your fixed expenses, what's going out. Maybe it's sitting with your children and saying, this is what our household budget looks like. Mama or daddy knows that you want to be involved in these activities, but this is what we have the ability to afford. And although that might be a difficult conversation with your child today, it could prepare them to make sure that they're considering the cost in the future before they engage in things. So that could be a healthy lesson. Then if you're married, here's where it gets all kinds of colorful, right? Because different households function differently. My wife and I, we prefer to pool all of our financial resources together, and we've always done that. So we have our money in a single account together, and for us, it forced us to work as a team. And so we live under the principle of what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. And it also has fared pretty well for us, because just a piece of information, when we first got married, my wife actually made more money than me. And so, but the tables obviously have turned a lot. And if we were trying to operate our household where we split the bills down the line, things could get a little bit skewed and maybe not fair. And so by us pooling our resources together, it forces us to work together on how we plan our money. What that looks like for us is my wife and I sit down before the new year. We talk about what we have going on with our finances. We talk about what we want to accomplish in that year. We know how much money we have coming in, what we have going out, how much we want to save, and we put ourselves on a plan for that. All right. This year, based upon our goals, we sat down and we determined the things that we really desire. For the most part, we have. So this is a year for us to save a lot of money. We want to just save it up, just stockpile money. And so that means that I have to reduce my shoe buying habit because I'm a sneakerhead and I like to buy shoes. But we've limited. It's like we have this range going right now. I have to only buy between 5 and maybe up to 10 pairs of shoes. And some of you are probably judging me a little bit, but just know that I bought like 35 pairs of shoes in a year and a half. So I could do some damage when it comes to shoe buying, but I'm cutting back because I want to make sure that we are hitting our financial goals, all right? And then also what we're doing with our children this year is we've given them a financial goal. If they can save $100, we will double that. So if they save 100, we will give them 100 at the end of the year to start teaching them what it looks like to prepare and to save. And then also they already know the principle that when they get money in, they cannot spend it all. They have got to save a portion of it, generally 50% of what they've gotten. So we're trying to keep them with positive habits. Some married couples, you do it differently because maybe there's a lack of trust in who can handle finances better. So sometimes people have separate accounts. Even in that scenario, it's healthy for you to sit down and have conversations so that you make sure that you're still moving in a positive direction financially as a whole. Again, I'm an advocate for pooling it together, makes us work together as a team. We found that we can get more done when we pool our resources together, but I'm not here to tell you what to do and what not to do. What I am here to tell you is that you need a game plan in place. All right. So we want to get back to having some great focus this year. Some of you already gave up, even outside of money. You decided at the beginning of the year, I'm going to lose X amount of pounds. I'm going to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to eat like this. And then you walk into work, and isn't that the day that they have donuts available for breakfast, pizza for lunch, and just everything goes wrong. And then you say, I'm going to start Monday, or you say, I'm going to save this amount of money. But then you get tempted because you're an impulse buyer. So you go into the store and you get things that you don't need. Do some things to make sure that you can curtail those urges to spend the wrong way, or also maybe the laziness that you have in the areas that you have to apply more effort in so that you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish this year. And with that said, I want to open up the floor for any questions that you may have as you're working through family planning and working through how you plan your finances. I want to make sure that we are a resource to help you to do that. If you don't have a plan, I can tell you that you're going to be swallowed up. So make sure you have a plan.
Here's a question. How do I budget if life comes with unplanned expenses and things each month? How do you come up with a budget that leaves room for that?
Yes. So that's why it's even more important up front to make sure that you're saving a certain amount of money per month so that when those expenses come up, you will have something there to help you. And another thing is making sure that you don't build your budget in a way that it doesn't have any margin or any room that is, low. Because sometimes, we go to buy a car and we really know that what's reasonable for us to afford on a car note and still have money left over is a certain price point. But because we want a different vehicle, we buy up. I'm encouraging you to live within your means. And if you start your planning with always knowing how much you want to save, then that shows you what room you have to spend, and it controls how you utilize your money. So it may be hard for you in the beginning, especially if you have not been saving at all and life coming at you as fast as it can. What I encourage in that scenario is to reduce your debt as much as you can. Try to get aggressive about making sure that you lower the amount that you're paying on bills so you can begin to move money to your savings account, so that ultimately when those things do come up, you will have money prepared for that.
And for those who have money saved but they don't know what to do with it, they have a little bit of extra but they're not sure exactly how to invest it, what would you say to those people?
Well, I would say invest based upon your risk appetite. If you know that, hey, I'm scared to let it go because I want to make sure it's there, then you can leave your funds in the savings. Of course, that's going to be the lowest paying right now. And so if you say, well, I want to earn a little bit more, but I still want to be able to get to this money after a certain period of time, then maybe you're looking at a certificate of deposit where you can earn a little bit better interest, but it'll be set to timelines such as 6 months or a year, whatever you agree to. And then once you've built that up enough and you say, well, I'm willing to do something maybe a little bit riskier, sitting with a financial planner to see how you can invest your money, whether that's, if you're working a 401k, it's always a good idea if you have funds that are being matched by your employer. But maybe you are interested in investing in mutual funds or stocks. Make sure you sit with someone who knows what they're doing to help you out with that. But find what's right for you based upon the risk appetite that you have.
And lastly, what does the credit union offer to help people who want to start this path of budgeting and saving?
Thought you'd never ask. So we have 100% of our staff certified as financial consultants or counselors. I'm sorry. I almost said planner, and I'm like, well, we're not actually a planner. We're a financial counselor. And so what we can do for you is make sure that we look at what your financial situation is and help you to develop the plan that you need based upon where you are. We're going to sit down. We're going to have the tough conversations. We're going to find out what's going on with your budget. And, that might be uncomfortable up front because, it seems like getting a budget, it's for some people it's just as painful as going to the doctor's office and getting a shot, but we're going to take that time with you to figure out what's going on with your budget, help you to develop the right plan, even figure out what's going on with your debt load to see if we can help you to reduce how much you're paying per month, how quickly you can pay things off so that you can put yourself in the best possible financial situation.
And there's a question that just came in about cashback apps. Is this something that you think people might be benefited by?
I love it, actually. So, for a lot of people, it becomes a game. I know I've heard of people who use Ebates and things of that nature. It's almost like a game. It's fun. I get to shop, but I utilize this app and it sends me a portion of my money back. If you think about it that way, not only are you saving on the cost of whatever you're purchasing, but you can utilize those funds when they come back to move straight into your savings account. So it could be a great way for you to reduce expense, but also find extra dollars to save. I do recommend find the one that works well for you. We're not endorsing one per se, but I do know that a lot of people love them and they utilize them as a game, but they also help to save money. So. With that said, thank you so much for joining us for Facebook Live with the CEO. It's always a pleasure to hang out with all of you. I hope that you enjoy the tips that we give to you. And I'm excited because next week, we're actually going to be rolling out something new that you'll be getting Empower You videos from us every Wednesday. So make sure that you're looking forward to that. Tune in. You'll see it. It's going to be fun, exciting, short enough for you to be able to digest it, but powerful enough for it to help to change your life and empower you. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next time.